Hello, all, and welcome back to the Unfiltered Grapevine. This is A.
And this is Jay. To everyone out there who has listened to our previous recordings, we appreciate the support. We're still learning this process. Hopefully today's recording has less ambient noise in it compared to the previous recordings we've made. And we're slowly investing in proper sound system and recording devices to hopefully facilitate things going forward. Today's topic, it is the holiday season. So we figured we'll talk about Hallmark movies and the Hallmark Channel. Ain't that exciting?
Sure. Let's talk about that, yeah?
And how they're like cookie cutter filmed, and you can write your own story just by walking down the street.
It's like you can read my mind. So this has been an ongoing topic with Jay and I because he loves Hallmark movies.
Well, it's not that I love them. It's just that...
No. He loves them. No, let's be real. You love them.
Well,
I'm sorry. Do you not watch it like every single one that comes out?
I watch all the new episodes. Pretty much every one of the new.
What does that tell you there, sir?
That I don't have a life come the holiday season.
Neither do I, but I'm not watching Hallmark Channel.
Well, you don't watch TV much at all.
Well,
anyways.
That's the point.
See, there's the difference. I actually do watch television and a bunch of other channels. But the holiday season, it kind of is like just one of those reminders of the joy of what the season should bring, even though that the romance perspective of these movies are quite...
They're unrealistic. Let's be real. They are unrealistic. You're trying to sugarcoat it.
No, I was bringing up the word unrealistic. You just beat me to the punch.
Yeah, no, they're unrealistic.
Because falling in love in 2 weeks is very like, what? Especially from somebody that's trying to fall in love for 40 years.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers to that. Okay, so hold on. I'm gonna pause you for a second because I do think that the movies themselves are unrealistic, and yes, they are cookie cutter. But yes, they're sweet and they're cute. Blah 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 blah. But,
and that's pretty much why I enjoy them.
But I don't agree with the fact that you cannot fall in love so quickly. I think you can fall in love that quickly. I think that is a possibility.
Yeah.
That's not the part about the...
love at first sight?
I don't know if it's love at first sight. I think it's more lust at first sight that you're like, whoa, hi.
No.
No, not always. Yeah. Not always. But when it's at first sight, most people, that's what they see. But what I'm thinking of is more of an emotional attraction. An attraction that, not even emotional, an attraction that you can't really explain.
Yeah.
That there's just chemistry. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. But that's not even falling in love at first sight. I think that's like a recognition of a soul that you're attracted to, and then you build from there.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm considering love at first sight, although it's not necessarily that.
Well,
I just contradicted myself. Way to go.
Yeah, well, yes and no. Even though the premise of love at first sight is obviously by the word sight representing eye, love at first sight is not really about that visual connection. Yes, it is partial because you saw the person and you approached them, or vice versa. But love at first sight usually is that moment that two people do share, like you just said, that be it a minute or 5 minutes or whatever, that ignites that flame that's in you that says, I really like this person, and I can already see a future.
Yeah.
And of course, life then progresses. Modern dating with swiping left and right and all this other stuff is all on a visual lust premise. Oh, this person is attractive. This person, and it's more on the physical versus actually that true emotional.
Right.
Even though the Hallmark movies are cheesy in some of their storytelling because it's pretty cookie cutter.
Yes.
Girl comes home or guy comes home, meets ex from high school or something, or meets a neighbor or something, and there's that connection that's going on.
Yeah.
If you really watch as it being cookie cutter, it's the connection that they develop in each act of the episode that eventually leads into the end episode. And I'm hammering the table, so if there's a bounce, that's me talking with my hands. I'm Italian. I'm Italian. That happens. By the end of it, it's because of those conversations they shared with each other. It's not like they kissed the first time they saw each other. It's not, and of course they're cleaner, so they're not going to be like going to bed with each other like some films. But it's just the development of the dialogue that these couples have shared over this period, be it a 2-week period before Christmas or 5-week period based on whatever the story is.
Yeah.
They develop that connection that by the end, it's like, you know what, I can't be without you, or you are the one that I've always wanted.
Yeah, I want to give this a go.
I want to give this a go. And, and sometimes they skip to, last act of the movie is a year later when they're actually getting married or something. So it tells you that they were together for an actual year before anything serious really ever happened. It's not like it was like immediate, they got together. They developed something eventually further. So that's for those who have not been in relationships or been single a long time or conflicted with stuff like that. It does give at least a little sense of hope that something's out there. Unrealistic hope in a lot of sense, but it still gives at least a sense of hope that there is somebody out there for you.
Okay, I can agree with that at some level.
And that's coming from a guy's perspective, which is weird.
Yes, because if we're being real, you're probably the more romantic of the two of us.
Yes, I am a hopeless romantic.
I am as well. However, because I do like the romance, I do want to be swept off, my feet. Is that how it does this?
Yes.
I'm so romantic that I know the saying. There's that. I am a hopeless romantic. I do know that there is somebody out there that's right for me. So it's not that I'm not the hopeless romantic. It isn't that. It's just that I feel like you have more of it than I do. But I don't disagree with you.
I think it's also because of our different life experiences over the last several years.
Explain. What do you mean?
Well, I'm a hopeless romantic because I've never really been in a real relationship.
Okay.
So I'm as though let's back up that premise right now because I am currently in one and I'm grateful for that. I finally have a connection with someone that I really enjoy and brings me much joy. But I never had that before.
See, love is available out there in your 40s, people. 50s, just kidding.
It make me older. That
is your age.
I am in my 50s. I'm just
like what?
So all my past pursuits were very one-sided, mainly for me. And the traditional friend zone was usually always my backbone.
Yeah.
So to finally be in a relationship where it's reciprocal, mutual, is very enlightening. It's very warming to the heart and all that. But going back to the films, many of those films reflect a connection that already previously existed and it's just rekindled in many of those stories. So the connection was there, but life took their balance. But as I said, for me, I never had that in my younger years. So everything for me is, you actually been in relationships, and for better or for worse, good or bad, in that you've actually had those connections, and yeah, they may have gone sour at one point or been good, but you've had those experiences. So you kind of had the romance and those moments already in your life where I'm still reaching for it.
Gotcha.
So as much as you are romantic and you're still searching in this next degree in your life that you and I have had off camera, off recording conversations, because we all deserve to have that person in our life that we deserve, that we should be a partner with.
Sure.
You've had your path was ups and downs in getting to stuff, but you've had some connections in between. I never had those formal connections.
Sure.
So that's why I'm still that Shakespearean hopeless romantic, trying to reach out for something. And in my current situation, I'm still reaching out for that, even though it's a bliss, but there's still that wanting of more, and it's not there yet.
Yeah.
So that's where I think our degrees of hopeless romantic is in that sense.
I guess that could be viewed as correct, and I can't say whether it is or is not. Because I think it also stems for me in particular, that I didn't see my parents be extra loving towards one another.
Yeah.
That wasn't a thing in our household. We weren't loving. Not to say that I'm not loving and my siblings aren't loving, or we weren't loved. I'm not saying that. That's completely different than...
But you didn't witness the affection within the house?
No, not very frequently.
Yeah.
Not to say that it didn't happen. It's just it wasn't a frequent thing. Everybody was always busy doing other things, and that was never a priority. And as you know, as much as I love being with someone, I also enjoy my independence.
Yeah.
I am a free bird. I love doing things. So in a lot of my relationships, as much as I enjoyed them, they could be very suffocating. Because I'm like, and you can verbalize, hey, by the way, I just need some girl time or me time or whatever time, blah, blah, blah. Go do your dude thing and have at it, you know, whatever. So I think that's, for me, that's probably where the disconnect is. This totally turned out to be a therapy session. Wow. I don't know. I going back to the Hallmark movies, which is really the point of this episode, is as much as I enjoy the movies, they're cute.
Yeah.
I mean, they're okay. They're cute. Kudos to all the actors and actresses, because I find them adorable.
Yeah.
However, I do wish that there was a little more friction, a little more reality to what's actually going on in people's lives. Not just, oh, I'm struggling with blah, 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 whatever it is, right? Like real struggles, I'm having, I'm dealing with this ex and they're very jealous or it's a very, like a real issue. And I understand that it is a Hallmark thing and it's not something that they really do.
Well, actually, there's been a couple films, and that's, again, I'm the one that's watched a bulk of them specifically over the last several years. I would say probably the last 3 years is where I really watched them every holiday season. But there's been recent films where you've had those kind of action conflicts. One recent one don't remember the title, is basically of a married couple who basically lost sight of each other. They're busy in their careers. They don't hardly talk with each other. The husband is responsible for renovating their kitchen, but she has very little input in it. And they've gone to a therapy session, and they're seeing a family counselor.
Oh, so they got my letter at Hallmark. No, I'm just kidding. I did not write to Hallmark.
So the counselor says, you know what? What you need is time together. Get away and be together. And she recommends this small little town up in Vermont. No kidding. So they end up going to Vermont for this 1 week pre-Christmas vacation.
I hear it's beautiful, by the way.
I hear it's wonderful in the Northeast during the wintertime. And then they, cutting the story short, a bunch of havoc happens, obviously, that makes them stay in the town because they're already pushing away from each other and say, let's just go back to the city. But certain circumstances lead them to stay in town. They actually do reconnect with each other. And by the end of the story, they're happily back together and ready to start spending life together and always seeing each other again like they've always meant to be. And of course, a new couple arrives at their little resort, little bed and breakfast that they were staying in, that the same counselor had recommended to go to, and their story begins similar to what happened to them. So then it's kind of this is kind of what the city does. Yeah. You kind of feel like the city is meant to be this counselor.
I think that counselor is getting some extra dough from that city, and that bed and breakfast is what's happening.
Well, apparently that is part of the story too, because the city is in this little magazine, but then the B&B owner says, oh yeah, she sends all her clients here.
There you go.
So you kind of get the sense that this is kind of a play to really get the couples to really interact with each other, especially during the holidays as the film was premised. So you have some of those films that bring those situations in. Another one where the girl, her boyfriend is a total idiot right at the beginning of the show, is a gamer, doesn't give her attention at all. And she's like, you know what? I'm leaving you. Goodbye. I'm going away. And then she goes back home to be with her parents for the holiday. But then her holiday parents kind of abandon her. And now she's living in her family's HOA. And they're celebrating Christmas. And she's not really a Christmassy girl anymore. But they get her all involved with the holidays. And
so needless to say, Hallmark is developing widening their view of...
It's not just... old boyfriend, girlfriend comes back home to hometown, reconnect or something of that nature. They are having some conflict that evolves into the person developing into the new person or falling in love with the new person because of that experience.
Right.
So even though it's like the first act of the entire film, so it's the first 10 minutes out of a 2-hour film, but at least there's that nudge of that reality in there.
Yeah. Well,
so how did that go?
Kudos to Hallmark for making the changes. I'm going to have to trust you on that because I don't watch them. Not that I won't watch them. I do. And you have suggested a few. And I'm like, I got nothing else to do, so I'll go ahead and watch them. And they are cute, but I have to say that I get easily bored by them. Again, it has nothing to do with the acting or I don't know. I don't know.
But again,
I think it's just, for me, I think it's, for as much magic that it is trying to portray, I feel like it lacks a sense of magic. And I don't know what that is.
And I just want to actually premise that this is not a total knock on just Hallmark and a Hallmark channel.
Oh, no, it's not.
There are also Great American Family
yeah,
Network,
GMA,
and Lifetime that
Lifetime
have developed these films. They have the same premise, style, all that.
Yeah.
Each network is being more inclusive in the style of those relationships. Mm-hmm. So it's not, so there's...
No, it's definitely not knocking anything. It's just getting perspectives from two different people and how they view it.
Yeah.
And that's really what it comes down to. Again, not knocking anything. I think, to each their own. Some people want a burger. Some people are vegan. There's nothing wrong with either way. It's just their preference. That's really what it comes down to. And my preference is not that.
Well, your preference is more also grabbing a book, read a book. And
that is true.
So versus,
or a cerebral movie. I rather watch a cerebral movie or something that's going to make me really think.
Yeah, and these movies are not meant to really. Yeah. These are very simple. They're like back in the day the Harlequin Quinn novels that people would buy to read, which was all romantic romance and all that. Yeah. These are just
at the age of 20. I read those and. Sure, but will I read it now? No. Because, you grow, you develop.
Yeah. And now these movies are similar to that. Yeah. And they're usually...
I don't know, some of those Hollywood movies or books were a little hot and steamy.
Yeah, well, you're also talking about you're talking about the network. We could easily make one that could be on HBO. We could totally expand on the storyline.
No.
But yeah, they're simple, meant to be feel-good films that are not, the acting is B quality at best.
And some of them are really good.
Some of them are A quality because of certain actors. And there are some actors and actresses that I watch that are from there that are like, you can see the chemistry between the actors make the movie.
Yes.
And I'm going to give kudos to whoever is the casting director or coordinators for some of these movies because some of these actors are paired up all the time.
Yeah.
Different story or a sequel to a story. Sometimes they make a second film based on what has happened already based on the first film.
Yeah, but I think that's the case with any movie, whether it's a TV movie or a film or whatever. If there's no or just a regular show on TV, if there's no chemistry between the actors, whether it's male and female or two friends, if you're supposed to be two friends and you have zero chemistry, how are you selling that? Right?
Yeah.
But if you don't have the chemistry between the actors, I don't care whether they have real chemistry in real life, but if you can't act like you have good chemistry, something's lacking.
Yeah.
And the film, I feel, will not be as successful because of it, because it's going to miss the mark. Personally, that's just me.
Totally understandable. Excuse me.
Is that tea not enough?
No, that tea was perfect.
And I know we're supposed to be drinking wine because we are the Unfiltered Grapevine, but...
it is way too early in the day to actually have a glass of wine right now.
Yes.
And we are responsible adults to a point. That was our opinion on Hallmark movies, and kind of these holiday romantic films. I hope you enjoyed this random conversation.
Tell us what you think about Jay's and my opinions.
Send us an email, and we appreciate you listening in. Until next time, listen to the Unfiltered Grapevine.
See you guys.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to the Unfiltered Grapevine. Please visit our website, unfilteredgrapevine.com, and become a Patreon member, or visit our merchandise shop and purchase one of our several products. Like and subscribe. We'll listen to you next time. Thanks again. Bye.